welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, we're going to quickly get into our next conversation this morning. And this morning we're chatting with Dr. Sharda Mahabir as well as Gregory Smith, who is the head of the Exploration UNDP Accelerator Lab, and Dr. Mahabir is the coordinator for Global Environment Facility and Small Grants Program. And this morning we're talking about the Tobago Innovation Challenge. Good morning, guys, and how are you doing?
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Good to
So,
see you.
Mr. Smith, are you here by yourself as well?
No, Dr. Mahabir will also be joining us, I believe.
Hello?
I guess, we're not together. We're probably going to be joining from two separate video links.
Okay, excellent. And so tell us a bit more about the Tobago Innovation Challenge that we see happening in collaboration with the UNDP.
Sure. Hi, Dr. Mahabir. Glad you could join us as well.
Good morning.
Good
All right, we're
morning,
both here.
and welcome
So,
to Tobago Updates.
Thank you.
yes, glad to be here. And so the first question was to tell you about the Tobago Innovation Challenge, being jointly hosted by the UNDP Accelerator Lab and the Global Environment Fund's Small Grants Program. So, Dr. Mahabir, I don't know if you want to take it from there.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Greg. So, the Global Environmental Facility Small Grants Program is offering to Tobago $100,000 in order to support the development of projects that will encourage, support for people on the ground as well as the development of or the conservation of the environment. This $100,000 is being offered specifically. It's the first time we've ever done this in Tobago, where we provided funding specifically for development in Tobago. So we're very excited about this. And we will be coming across to Tobago to help you all to develop these proposals and projects. And being able to give you all the technical support that you require in order to complete our application process, which is a two-step process where you would apply via concept first, tell us what your idea is, let's talk about how you can develop the idea, and then of course if it is that you're shortlisted, then your project will then. So that's on my end. Of course, this is a partnership between Jeff SGP and the UNDP Accelerators Lab, and we're offering funding at different levels. Our grant facility offers funding up to up to 5,000 US for a planning grant and up to 50,000 US for a full grant. And now I'll hand over to Greg, who will give you a little more details about the funding opportunities through the Accelerator Lab. Greg?
Absolutely, thank you. So in addition, so there are three types of grants, as Dr. Mahabir may have just mentioned. There's the planning grant for $5,000. There is the innovation grant for $20,000 and the enterprise grant for $10,000. So the Accelerator Lab will be providing sponsorship for the middle grant, the $10,000 grant for innovative ideas centered around the theme of keeping Tobago clean, green, safe, and serene. So this will welcome projects related to environmental conservation, community empowerment, building peace in communities, and similar or related topics. We had an information session last week, and we will also have a workshop in Tobago coming up soon. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself there. But that is the general theme. So there will be three sets of grants, in total 120,000 US dollars worth of funding available, focused specifically on Tobago. Tobago, clean, green, safe, serene.
Okay, and Dr. Mahabir, can you tell us a bit about the criteria as well as some of the areas that you guys will be covering for the grant?
Okay, great, perfect. So under the Jeff Small Grant opportunity, which is the 5,000 and up to the 20,000 or the 50,000, the criteria for that funding is that you have to be an NGO that has been registered for at least 1 year, and you also have to be able to do the projects in our 5 focal areas, which would be biodiversity, climate change, chemicals and waste, land degradation, and water. So these are the 5 focal areas that we're looking to develop in line with the priorities of Tobago. We're looking for projects that are innovative in those spaces, in those focal areas, that will help Tobago to take it to the next level of realizing that green tourism, and exactly what Greg said, clean, green, safe, and serene. So our criteria is slightly different from the Accelerator Lab criteria. So I'm going to hand over to Greg now. So he's going to tell you about the criteria for the 10,000 US opportunity. Greg?
Yes, absolutely. So coming back to me again. So we want to make sure that we are able to facilitate as many types of ideas from as many different types of innovators within communities as possible. So for the grant that allows for $10,000 worth of funding, it's not just funding that you receive, by the way. You also receive training, capacity development, technical support to help implement your project ideas, and of various other benefits. So for that grant, the criteria are any organization. You can be an individual, you can be a micro and small enterprise, you can be a sole proprietorship, you can be a group of individuals, you can be an NGO or a CSO. So the criteria are pretty broad for that one, because we don't want anybody to fall through the net on this opportunity. Also, the projects can fall in any of the categories that you see on your screen now: ecotourism, community empowerment, environmental education, peace building, environmental conservation, waste management, recycling, upcycling, etc. So there's a broad variety of topics under which you may apply to the challenge. And the theme, once again, is keeping Tobago clean, green, safe, and serene.
Right, and for that $10,000 US dollar innovation project that you guys are sponsoring, you guys are saying innovate to implement an innovative project. So the person that wins by the submission of their plan has to implement that strategy, or is
That
it
is
something that they are about to win the grant based on a project that they have already implemented into the community?
That's a great question. And yes, so the project that you apply with would be the project that you implement. And Dr. Mahabir, I know you also wanted to add to that, so please feel free.
Yes, okay. So what I wanted to add, Chanel, was the fact that what we also want to be able to do for this project is actually develop partnerships between NGOs and SMMEs. So in other words, we'll be encouraging the development of the partnerships for sustainability of the project. So we want to build business models that will come out of these innovative projects. So to clarify, yes, we are giving you the money to actually implement the project, but we also want to help you to build the partnerships that will allow the project to last long beyond the funding that we would provide. So we want to be able to develop a sustainable business model that you could continue to do the work that you said you want to do even after we've gone.
Excellent. So does that include capacity building exercises and workshops and training? How do you guys
Yes.
plan to roll that out? So is it that once the organization, individual, or business wins, then they are trained before the project is implemented?
Absolutely. Yes. So now might be a chance to talk you through a bit of the timeline for the project. So Dr. Mahabir and I can kind of tag team on this, but the project will require the submission of an application online, a project concept form. Don't worry, don't be afraid. This is not a very complicated or difficult form to complete. This is to get your idea for your project onto paper, so that we can review it. That deadline for submission of that project concept form is, Dr. Mahabir, I believe it is May 15th. So that is this
15.
month,
Yes.
the 15th of May, followed by, we will, on the 20th of May, we will have a live in-person workshop in Tobago, that we'll call the Innovation Workshop. And the purpose of that workshop is twofold, as you just mentioned. It's around capacity development, helping you to develop your capacity to build a more solid and effective proposal and project plan to be submitted. So again, you haven't implemented a project yet. You've sent your idea, you've sent your concept, we've reviewed it. We're now helping you to put together that proposal so that it's a more solid and aligned project. And then we'll also do some brainstorming, some what we call collective intelligence, some issue mapping in that workshop. Um, And Dr. Mahabir, do you want to take it from there with the GEF timeline, and then we can come back to the ACT Lab timeline?
Right. Okay. So what happens is Accelerator Lab and JEF SGP share that initial deadline, which is the 15th of May for concept. So if you are an NGO and you want a small seed money to start up a project to test, beta test or prototype an idea, you can apply for 5,000. If you are a business and you want to prototype or develop a business for yourself, you can apply for 10,000. Or if it is that you have a project on the ground, it already has some proof of concept, and you really want to upscale it now, so you want to expand it, you want to apply for 20 to 50,000 under JEF SGP. Now, under the two funding opportunities that JEF SGP provides, which is the up to 5 and up to 50, those the deadlines for the concepts, just the ideas. We want to hear how you're going to run out your project, who are your beneficiaries, and how you're going to sustain it. That concept deadline is the 15th of May. Subsequently, on the 20th of May, when we come in and we do the workshop with you guys to fine tune your ideas, the deadline for the final proposal is now the 2nd of June. Now, from that, so JEF SGP and Accelerator Lab will share the 2nd of June deadline. So your concept deadline and your proposal deadline is the same for both entities. But the process will be slightly different because JEF SGP will then evaluate your proposal submitted by June the 2nd, and will then have individual meetings between the applicant as well as the National Steering Committee, where they will present to the National Steering Committee directly in terms of their project ideas, and they will have to defend it for the funding to the National Steering Committee, sort of like what the Accelerator Lab will do, but they do a slightly different process. So I'm going to hand you over to Greg. Greg is going to tell you about the Accelerator Lab process now. Greg?
Right, and not to cause too much complication, all this information, by the way, is available online using the link bit.ly/UNDP Tobago. I see it coming up on the screen, or you can email us at sgpmonitoring@gmail.com. But just to add to that, just as was said, so at the May 20th session, we will help you start building a proposal, so turning your concept idea into a more detailed proposal, which will be then due on June 2nd. From June 2nd onward, we will help we will review the proposals. We will help the top 10 proposals to develop really nice, classy, fancy pitch videos for their ideas. And then subsequently, they will present their ideas live to a panel of esteemed judges to determine who will be the winners of the actual funding. So it's a process. It's it's a good process. It's a fun process. Everybody, we've done it quite a few times. People have learned from it. People have really enjoyed and gained a lot from it.
And Dr. Mahabir, can you also remind the Tobago public of who can apply for these grants?
Right. Okay. So in terms of the up to 5,000 US, it can actually be NGOs, CBOs, or CSOs, so any sort of registered community organization. You can apply up to 5,000 US to start a project, to get seed money to start a project in your community. In terms of MSMEs, etc., you can apply up to 10,000 US. In terms of business persons or individuals who are wishing to establish or expand a business in terms of environmental benefits, social benefits, digitization benefits, all of those things, that you can apply up to 10,000 US for that funding. And finally, for NGOs, CBOs, and CSOs, so we're coming back to the community now. Those communities that have projects that are on the ground and want to expand those projects, you can apply up to $50,000 for funding in order to be able to expand the work that you've been doing. So I hope that's clear. Up to 5,000 NGOs, up to 10,000 SMMEs and individuals, and up to 50,000 NGOs.
Right. And finally, sorry, you said that the theme is keeping Tobago clean, green, safe, and serene. So all the projects have to be surrounding that theme, I'm guessing.
Correct. Yes. And all projects have to be implemented in Tobago.
Okay, excellent. All right, I think that is clear. And how can persons get into contact with you for more information? I see that You also posted the website. There's also the tt.undp.org that persons can get information from, and you guys are having a information session. Well, that was yesterday. You had your information session when? Oh no, that went already. You already
Yeah,
had
that was
that
last.
already. But okay,
Yes.
so
Yeah,
but would you guys be in Tobago anytime before the deadline of submission?
15th. No, we won't be in Tobago necessarily, but we definitely feel free to email us if it is that you have any concerns, queries, and you want to know how to fill out the form, you want some advice, please email us at sgpmonitoring@gmail.com, and we will definitely get back to you. We're monitoring the emails to make sure that applicants who are requesting information are able to access that as quickly as possible in preparation for the 15th.
All right,
And also,
excellent.
also understand that even when you submit and you've if it is we have any queries with your application, we will be calling you directly. We will have a conversation with you even after you've submitted. If it is that you've left out anything from the application, we would allow you all to have a conversation with us to kind of update us on what your idea is and how great and it could contribute towards the achievement of Tobago's motto or realization of clean, green, safe, and serene.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Thank you for being here on Tobago Updates. And guys, that's all we have for you for today. So as we wrap up, we want to say thank you to the team at UNDP as well as the GEF, Jeff Small Grants Program. And so we thank you so much for ensuring that Tobago is a key part of this initiative, guys. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
for
so
having
much for
us.
having us.
All
Yeah.
right, guys, that's all we have for you for today. Again, thank you so much for making Tobago Updates the #1 broadcasting station right here on the island of Tobago. This morning, we had some really interesting conversations, starting off with Dr. Hamid Gandhi, who is a university lecturer. We spoke a bit about the fact that there is no legal basis to call an election in the THA here in Tobago. We also spoke to the leader of the Unity of the People, Shenell Felix, and we just had Dr. Sharda Mahabir as well as George Smith, and they were talking about the Tobago Innovation Challenge. So, guys, that's an opportunity for Tobagonians to implement projects to better assist in environmental issues here on the island, and that's called the Tobago Innovative Challenge, and the team is clean, green, safe, and serene. So if you need to go back and get the information, you could go back and watch that. Again, thank you for making Tobago Updates the #1 broadcasting station here on the island of Tobago, guys. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.